VCU onto the preseason #1 team in the league, getting 14 of the first place votes. For good reason. I mean, look at it. Max Shulga's back, preseason first team selection. Joe Bamasil, Zeb Jackson, preseason second team. Jackson on the also on the all defensive team. Don't have this a lot, these days, right? With a lot of really, really strong and experienced players returning, they chose to stay. Where are we at with VCU with the high expectations they have?
Were the top 3 scorers back is a really big deal. The environment at VCU is a really big deal. And this is another team where they're going to talk about their depth. They have a lot of it. And again, I'm not besmirching anybody, but is this a possibility, Ice? They have too many players.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's dive more into depth then, because we talk about depth. Depth could mean that in practice you're able to have a good 5 versus a good 5, and everyone gets better, right? You're able to play 10 deep. Depth sometimes also means that 8, 9, and 10 on your team who come off the bench are able to play. So they're returning 65% of their scoring from last year. You return 65%, you add players off the bench, right? Most teams and coaches play 7 deep. The difference in depth for me is if you're having players 8, 9, and 10 off the bench come in and have to play, right? 1, yes, your team is deeper. You've got more players. But 2, as a player, it's extremely hard to do the scout for 7 great players, and then I have to worry about 8, 9, and 10 coming off the bench that maybe only play 8 minutes, but their 8 minutes is the difference in the game. So I think depth is, what are you using with your depth? Is because we're sharpening each other in practice, or we're actually playing all of these players?
One of the things that's a big deal with depth is communication. Because these guys are going to go out, these ladies are going to go out, and they're going to bang heads and bang heads and bang heads. And what do all coaches say to you, Ice? Compete, 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 and you'll get what you earn. Well, what happens when player number 9, he or she has to be told? So that's a big deal with communication. You cannot assume that they know. You have to be able to explain it and understand that it's about them individually. Before we can be a collective fist and a team, we must deal with each individual. Depth adds to practice. It may not add to game time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's, it would be challengeable, but that other programs have done as good of a job as VCU has done in terms of like the past 20, 25 years of an identity, right? I mean, they always seem to shuffle guys in and out. They go in, they play so hard. I know the style's changed a little bit with Coach Odom here, but it's still kind of there. It's still the foundation of VCU basketball. You're going to go in there, you're going to give it all you can for the time you're in, and you're going to dominate, and they have. And I'm only going to just give a quick example before we switch to the women's side. It's like, you talk about having too many guys. Well, how about last year? All they did was win the conference championship, but I thought Keith Dambrot and Duquesne had a little bit of that problem because he was playing like sometimes 10, 11, 12 guys. I'm like, what's going on here? It's kind of late in the season. Is this going to be okay? How are they going to manage this? And then all they did was go and they win the conference title, Coach.
Mike, you know what? I watched, because Keith is such a great friend and a great coach, and it was a great story with him retiring, his wife being sick, and not great that she was sick, but it was a great story that she was able to be there and participate. Mike, you know who I felt bad for? You. How does a play-by-play guy get ready for 12 players? Come on, Mike. Come on, you got to be thinking. It's all right to be selfish. It's all right.
You can feel bad for me during football season when there's 120 guys if you get more play. I can handle basketball with 12. Yeah, I can handle 12. They always ask me about that. Hey, we're at mid-court. It's climate controlled. There's 5 guys in each team. We're good. Yeah. But you know what? VCU, again, #1 preseason ranking. It's going to be an exciting team to watch. We're going to be in Richmond, Virginia 3 times on ESPN on the Friday night showcase. And they'll be playing some great teams, great competition that will be showcasing that environment once again. On the women's side, where are we at with the VCU Rams?
Yeah, preseason pick number 5. Yep. The 11th season for head coach Beth O'Boyle, who has done a terrific job. They were the A-10 champs in 2021. The 2019 season, they were the regular season co-champs, so she's continued to win every few years. But what I love about them is their guard play. Just starting with their sophomore, Tamaya Lewis-Utsi, Mariana Sari as well. Tamaya is on all-conference second team, but when I tell you one of the most versatile scores that you're going to see on the women's side, Phil, she is uber versatile. Whether it's a three, a slash, a teardrop, a runner, like she is just consistent at scoring in a multitude of ways. And then Mariana Asari is a Canadian player. She has some FIBA experience this past summer playing under 2023 U18. She was ranked third on the team in scoring last year, but her three-point shooting is what really was the leader for this team. 40% three-point shooter. I have loved how this young player has continued to develop and grow, and I think they can become the best backcourt or one of the best backcourts that we're going to see in the A10 with Lewis Utsi and then Asari.
It's been a destination there in Richmond on both sides, men and women, the way that they combine, the way they support each other, the facilities, the programs. And I think of that, you can't just say one without the other, because both programs have had tremendous success over the years, both on the men's and women's side.
And Mike, sometimes we miss, sorry, Ice, but sometimes we miss, that starts up top.
Yeah.
So Ed McLaughlin is like, he's in. And they don't compare themselves to other Atlantic 10 teams. They want to do what Carolina does. They want to do what the ACC teams do in their footprint. So when you start talking about these standard bearers, the standard bearers in the league, they're comparing themselves against the best programs in the country. And that's why you have this extended period of excellence.
The over 500 winning percentage, and I don't have the exact number, I'm gonna mess up, but it's like 24 years in a row. I mean, it's not even close, in terms of what they've been able to do. Like always, not only win consistently, but it's not like, oh, we're 15-15 this year. No, like 23 or 24 wins is like a lower year for them, and then 13 NCAA tournament appearances since the 03-04 season. That's the most over any Atlantic 10 conference member during that time.
Yeah, I'd say for the women's side, something to think about is they had the Player of the Year last year, and Sarah Tibiasu for VCU. That was a terrific guard. I mean, on the ball, terrific, dynamic at facilitating to her teammates, also scoring herself, a very solid and lethal three-point threat. And so it's always tough when you lose a veteran point guard, when you lose someone that is in charge of the team, they're running the team, and they score. So even though they have some really good guards, and Mikkel Parham, all defensive player, one of the best rebounders that you're going to see in the A10, there still leaves a question for VCU about that point guard position and who's going to control this team. And I think leadership, especially under Beth O'Boyle, is so important.
Just to give you that number, on the men's side, 24 winning seasons under 7 different head coaches. You talk about leadership coaching, top down, that's certainly the reason why. All right, let's go to the podium. We got the VCU men's and women's basketball to hear from both of them. We'll come back and talk more in a moment.
For the season, our guys have been working hard, like all the teams so far in the preseason, just trying to get our team ready for what we know is going to be a really hard-fought year all around. We've got a good amount of guys back. I'm sure we'll get into that here in a second, but 3 guys that played valuable minutes for us last season. One sitting right beside me, and then Zeb and Joe and Christian Furman as well. So we've got a good amount of guys back, that are excited about this upcoming season and can lead the younger guys. I feel like we have a good balance for excellent freshmen that we're really excited about helping them grow and introducing them to what college basketball is all about, and then some guys that are returning as well and that are sophomores that played some valuable minutes throughout the year as well. So we feel good about the versatility of the team and where the mood of the team and the connectivity of the team is right now so far this early in the season. But we know it's going to be a hard year all around. We feel good about where the A10 is positioned right now, coming off last season with 2 teams, in the NCAA tournament that both did awesome, and more in the NIT as well that had good years. We were fortunate enough to finish, pretty strong down the stretch, and I think the guys are motivated, for this coming season. So happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Coach. Ryan, you've had good history going into a second year at places, whether it was at UMBC or Utah State. Do you see last year kind of serving as a similar type of springboard for this particular team, especially given, as you said, all those guys that you have back?
Yeah, I mean, certainly I try not to compare, years. This is a totally different team from the Utah State team or the UMBC team in my second season, but, it does certainly help, when you go into year two, the familiarity, all the things that, you have to get acclimated to, when you first take over a position, a new job. Forget moving your family all the way across the country, twice, trying to figure out where the heck you're going to live because the market's so bad. And then trying to put a team together. This time last year, we had finally gotten the team together and signed all the players that we needed to sign. But when we first got there were 5 starters gone, guys off the bench gone, and we were having to scramble to kind of put it together. And felt like our staff did an excellent job. Obviously, we had 2 guys come with us, from Utah State that knew our style very well. And we were dealt some blows early in the season last year, with Joe being out and then Sean being out, with the injury, that kind of derailed the early season, for us. Certainly had some big wins, but, wasn't what we all had hoped for or expected. And then coming into this year, college basketball's changed, right? Players are able to move around more freely. The game's totally changed in a lot of different ways, and it's hard to keep your team together. And so, going into year two, we were, committed to trying to retain as many of the guys as we could, and certainly we're very happy with where it landed, overall. I think we're at a time in college basketball I'll talk about because I don't know the other sports, but, it's in vogue to kind of look around and find other places and see what's out there. And, we don't want to be that. We want to be a destination, at VCU. And we want to be a place where people want to stay for all the right reasons. And that's not to say that, all transfers are bad. They're not. We know that. Certain kids need to find another place, to go. But, we're really proud of what our administration, Ed, and our president and the board and the folks, that invest in our program, the facilities that we have. We want all of our current guys to know and future guys to know that you can get where you want to go from VCU. It's been done many a time. And remaining competitive in that way is really important to us. And in year two, for this coming season, our guys are not, completely focused on championships or anything like that. They're focused on doing their best every single day right now and trying to get better, knowing that there's a lot of hard days ahead.
Chris Powell, Couch Coach Live. Max, congratulations on being named first team.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, you're bringing back 65% of your offense. Just talk about just being able to have that retention and carrying over to the season.
Yeah, I think it's huge. Certainly these guys understand, our values, both on and off the court. And that's really important when you're trying to, maintain and continue to grow, your own culture. And so, the older guys are able to pass that down. That's why you always want to have freshmen, that can grow with you along the way. And you want to have upperclassmen that have been there that, can lead the younger group. And, we have, 4 captains that we've named now. Max is in his second year of being a captain. Zeb in his second year of being a captain. Joe Bamisil in his first. And Christian Furman, in his first year being a captain. And really excited about, all 4 of these guys. And, the leadership that they're going to provide, for this team. And then we've got 2 super seniors that transferred in, one that played in the Elite Eight last year as a starter at Clemson, The other UT Arlington, and Phil Russell, who is a dynamite competitor, an old school VCU guard that has fit right in, with this group. And so we have a good balance of older guys and then younger players that are testing these older guys. I mean, Max can sit here and tell you, like, the younger guys that we have are good. And every day we come into practice, it's competitive. And that helps you get better, over the course of the season and getting in preparation, for the season.
All right, we have time for one last question.
Aaron Brazy from Big5Hoops.com in Philly. This is for both Max and Coach. Max, we talked in May after you committed to Villanova. Just wondering a couple things. What went into the decision to return to VCU, and how do you feel about that decision now? And also, like, what are you looking forward to for this A10 season? And then, Coach, if you could then follow up on, like, how happy are you to have Max back, and what do you think he can do?
Go ahead.
What went into the decision was I had a couple of talks with Coach, and when I just rethought what my last year of college, what I wanted to look like and how I wanted to go, I just thought that I would want to come back to the family environment, the people that I've been with, the people that helped me grow over the last 4 years, and finish it with them, and also knowing how many people we have coming back from last year, and how close we were to our goal last year, to winning the A10 championship, knowing how close we were to that, and knowing how good of a team we're gonna have this year, and how much we've improved over the summer. Just competing for that was what I wanted to do. So those are the things that went into it, and I feel great about the decision still right now, and looking forward for the season.
Yeah, I got to be quick here, but obviously it goes without saying, we're thrilled, that Max decided to finish it out with us. He's an amazing player. He's an even better person. Even though he's quiet, he's got a quiet confidence and a quiet competitiveness that we know will benefit us, at VCU. I know our fans are excited. I think this is huge for our fans, to have familiar faces coming back, because it's not that often that you get that nowadays in college basketball. And so for us to have Max and his teammates come back, to give it one more go, is really special.
All right, thank you, guys. Good luck
Thanks.
this season.
Thank you.